Whether you're new to pool and practicing the basics, or a more experienced player performing drills to improve your shot making and positional play, the Drill Partner is perfect for you.
What is going on, everyone? Good evening, good morning, depending on what part of the world that you're in. World Championships is finishing up, and it's been a fun week. But I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I'm looking forward to the event coming to an end. It's been pretty exhausting on my end, but it's been just an absolute blast, just sweating the matches. And today was no different. Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me and see me all right. It's been a fun couple of days of some shows and kind of doing, two a days in terms of going live. And I think that's just what the World Championships needs. It's hard to fill Mike's shoes, but we're doing our best. And so I'm gonna bring in the guest this evening. We're gonna bring in, you guys may recognize the beard as one of them, and then I brought in my man Pancake as another one. And Sean, I want to start with you. Maybe start with like introducing yourself, your role in the pool world for those who may not know you, and yeah, all that good stuff.
Well, let's see. Name is Sean. Go by Pancake. Got that name from a long time ago. I pretty much told that story about 300 times, but it never
Okay.
gets old because it
Yeah.
reminds me of when I won some money. I got into pool because I love the action.
There you go.
I didn't realize that it would become more than that as far as my passion for it, and met an incredible amount of people in the pool world that are very good people, and there's some bad ones too. But it's been a long road as far as where we were to now. Now we're here.
Well,
Recently got a sponsorship with Omega Billiards, which non-pro, of course, but
yeah.
and that's pretty exciting. Going to be playing in the U.S. Open in a couple weeks,
I
so
I look
that's going to be
forward to it
cool.
every year, Pancake, and seeing you out there and a few times a year, whether it's every now and then it's the expo, although I don't think I saw you this year. And I know
No,
that's
the
always like
Expo is,
right at the
yeah,
end of or Derby rather, because I know Derby's like right in the middle of your tax season as well.
right.
So
Yep, yeah.
um
Derby's Derby. I'll be at Derby hopefully every year now. It's at a perfect part of the year. So
well,
um,
let's
go ahead.
let's start with what your thoughts are on the World Championships to this point. What were some sticking like things that kind of popped out to you
Well,
sweating over the last couple of days, man?
I mean, these last couple of matches that were shown today were incredible. I mean, you have a guy like Amir Ali, who's coming out of nowhere, who I think most people questioned him just based on the fact that you have an over 800 Fargo, but his robustness isn't so much. So they're just trying to think,
Yeah.
he played good for a little bit, but he really hasn't been tested. And a couple shots here or there, and he's playing tomorrow. So
Yeah.
you know, I'm very impressed with how he played. Um, Very impressed with just all these players dealing with a lot of there's a lot going on obviously with between the refs racking, and we saw today with Cledio calling a push and the referee didn't recognize it, so they called a foul on him, which changed that match because
Completely.
all of a sudden Amir comes back, and if the mental aspect of Cledio's game, I mean, obviously he's a stone cold killer like his brother, and
Yeah.
that could have made a lot of players go, get out of it mentally. So I give him
Instantly.
kudos for that. Yeah. So, but no, those matches were great. Beato and Little Co. I mean, just excellent matchups. And if you love pool, I mean, you got to be watching this.
It's been absolutely exciting. I see Michelle's comment about Derby. She made this comment to me like one year as I'm flying in, and I'll never forget it. I said, "How's the casino?" And she says, "Smells like weed and regret." And ever since then, it's like every time I show up there at Caesars, that's the first thing that pops into mind. And it's very fitting, actually, every single year that I go. But no, listen, Amir was the guy for me over the last really today because I just haven't watched him. And I mentioned it with Mike in terms of a lack of sample size. And you see the numbers, and it's funny the way that Fargo's kind of transitioned in terms of it's very much a hot button topic, but it's very much also the like it's the gospel from kind of gauging where someone's at more or less, you know. And so
Right.
when they see that number, but it's like, well, hold on, I haven't seen him play filler. I haven't seen him play in a U.S. Open, or I haven't seen him play in a China Open or whatever. And it's like, it's hard to give him respect. And I tell you what, man, for me, he certainly earned that today. And it was really that match with Claudio that I really got to like dive into and just sweat it, where I was just like, man, this dude is the real effing deal, man. I mean, you mentioned Stone Cold Killer regarding Claudio. I could say the same thing for Amir, man. I mean, he was just handling his business, doing work, from 5-0 down, coming back to make it, I think, what, 5-3 after that foul, or
Yep.
foul, if you will.
Mhm.
Ray, what about you? What were some things that kind of stuck out to you in terms of Amir through today or through the last couple days?
Yeah, I think it's funny, the Fargo conversation. If anything, Fargo is the most useful and the most accurate at this level, because there's so much information of how these players play throughout the world that when somebody slots in and starts handing L's to people that are really, really established and their Fargo
Yeah.
reads really high, like, it's almost like 840, like he showed that he's an 840, like the guy played unbelievable. And really, you're looking at him rattling a long, tough 4-ball. That if that ball goes down, it's double hill and him breaking.
Yeah.
And he was breaking good. He was breaking the balls really good.
And if you think about the context of that match, I mean, Kachi was up 5-0, shooting to go up 6-0. All of a sudden now you're one ball away from it being double hill, and you're sitting down watching the other guy break. That would have been so much pressure on Kachi. And I mean, both matches, that round was really amazing round. Like you got guys fighting for their lives, and he always looked super calm. From when I saw his disposition, his demeanor never changed, his emotions never went really super high or low. You never saw him like, you just saw a guy going out there doing his business and playing really well. I think that's the part that stuck out for me a lot, that his composure was so well. He just had a really strong composure the whole time and just continued to go about his business and deliver good quality shots. And impressive showing from him. I think he made a lot of fans, and I saw people rooting for him to win the tournament. Like, this is my pick. I want this guy to
He
win.
turned into the story, and there comes a certain level of like heat and expectations when you start like let's say this was in the Philippines. The Filipinos are going to play a little different being in front of their people, and insert said country. You know what I mean? You're gonna play a little tighter when you got all that pressure of the moment, and you're supposed to rattle, you're supposed to fold, you're supposed to shake a little bit, and that dude didn't. He stole the show for me today, and it was just so much fun watching him just pick apart racks, make smart decisions. He was very like simple in terms of his safety play, but when it came to like running out, like, man, that dude was handling it, go ahead, Ray.
I think what makes it more impressive too is like, we had an outsider run a few years ago from a Sufi, right?
Yeah.
And Sufi's game is so much more like, I have to hit the momentum, and he has a very high peak, but like, for to hit that high peak, a lot of things have to be going for him for that to like crescendo. This guy was just like the Terminator. Like, he just like, he's just walking and making shot after shot and hitting his spots. And it's like, man, that's impressive. You know what I mean? Because that's like, to me, that's more intimidating than somebody who can just like, hit. Anybody can hit you with a 4 or 5. But if you can sit in a chair and get hit with 4 or 5 and then come back and be right there when that's
battle tested, even though like it's a small sample size. Yeah, and how mentally tough you are. And Peggy, I want to ask you a question on this, because you've been known to be a degenerate in your day, for those of you who don't know. But you saw that match, you were texting in the group chat.
Mm-hmm.
I would have guessed that at if that ball goes down that Ray was talking about, and what's his name was on the hill, what do you think percentage wise that he was at in terms of running out the rack, just given what you had seen, if it being hill and watching that match? How did you like Amir's chances? Obviously it's hypothetical, but
I mean, watching him play, even the match prior to that, I thought he was the only threat to Federer going forward. Like, I know you have Beato and I know you have all these other guys.
After the win over Anton, you mean?
Yes, yes. So I just thought that, if he runs into Federer, which is really I know Cledio, I like him. He's a good kid, but I wanted to kind of see, Amir Federer, So I'm a little disappointed in that, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I think if he makes that 4 ball and gets on the 5, it's over. I don't think Cledio sees the table again, because the guy was just so calm and cool under pressure. First time ever dealing with the shot clock, and if you noticed him going around the table, he kept looking up at it
He
every
did.
single time to see how much time was left. But he dealt with it. He just every long
But it
shot,
never
he was
overcame
perfect
him, though. I
cueing.
felt.
No,
I felt like,
no,
yeah,
never. He was just. I mean, if this is his showing, his first showing, he's going to be someone, down the line that's going to just be winning things, because he's just,
Very, very like Federer-esque, and like
yes,
it's
very
fair. Yeah.
methodical, good cueing, plays for his spots, handles the pressure well, like in that mold,
and
Whereas
you
like
and you and you heard Jeremy Jones say it when he was down on long shots. He goes, he doesn't mind distance. He settles when he needs to settle, because he knows his cue is straight and he's going to make the ball.
right,
And you even saw Cledio late in that match where the shot clock kind of got to him a little bit, where he ended up taking on like a thin cut to the 4 in the upper left. That I think that if he would have had a few more seconds, he probably opts for a different option. I mean, he was close to making it, but that could have been a big swing in its own right. And they were battling back and forth late in that game with that 4 ball. And so, yeah, no, listen, there was just a ton of positive takeaway for that guy, and it's like you mentioned. If this is the beginning, look out, because the sky's the limit with the way that he can handle it. And I've seen a lot more like established Fargo rated players or pro players that they play one way when they're on the outside tables, and then whenever they get on TV table, or in your case, Pancake, having that experience of seeing them play for the cash, they play a little bit different.
Yeah.
That dude looked like he was just a stone cold through and through killer, and he may have came out of nowhere, but everybody took notice after the last couple of days and the way that it went, man, for sure.
100%.
Among today's matches, Jeffrey Rota goes out to Fedor Gorst 11-4. Amir Ali, like I mentioned, goes out to Cledio 11-9. FSR 11-4 loses to Bernie Regalario, and then the other match for me that was awesome, especially in that round, I was pretty pissed off that it wasn't on TV table, was the Carlo and Ko Ping Chung. And listen, I know Federer's defending champion. I know that he's the number one, and I get all those things, but there was no reason to have Ko Ping Chung and Carlo Beato in that round be a secondary match. That's prime time TV. It doesn't get any better than that. And I want to get y'all's thoughts on that decision, and what do you think it is edge-wise for Federer, and how much confidence he's going to have going into tomorrow, given that basically everything's been on TV table for him on table number 1.
Well, yeah, what is it? Go ahead, Ray.
He's defending champion, so it's comes with the perks of the job.
Yeah.
He's earned his spot on that table, center court, and he's got such a big draw globally, between the Vietnam fans super love him, the Asian fans super love him. He's globally loved and respected, and he was playing in that case he was playing one of the Filipino people that, so it's like like you can't knock them for not putting there. Obviously, the if you didn't get to watch that match, the match between Carlo and Ko was amazing. Like Carlo was
Amazing.
up early, 5-3, and then Ko goes up 7-5, and then Carlo's up 9-7. It's just like they're just trading haymakers back and forth, and it got down to a really tense, close, almost double hill match again. And that I felt was the matchup of that round, that bottom part of the bracket. Like that's, who I think is going to come out of there. But, tough to pick against that match. I had all three. I had 2 monitors and 3 matches going. So I was
That's the way. That's the way you got to do it, man. It's like NFL ticket, except for the World
But
Championship.
if you're on your phone, it's tough. You can't do that really with just.
Well, if Federer ends up winning the title again, they should just give him that table, because I mean, he already owns it. I mean, you look at the matches he's played on it; nothing's been really close. I mean, he did miss that easy 9-ball today, but it was 10-3 when he missed it. So
I think he was thinking about lunch or something.
I like how he looked up like after he missed it, like, oh, like he's a real pool player looking for an excuse on why he missed it. He's just looking up.
This can't be real life.
Right. But I mean, yeah, I think that was his fourth or fifth straight match on table one, and he's on table one for the next two
That's
matches.
it.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, unless there's nobody left right now, and even though I understand Carlo is who he is, they also have that history of that 9-ball match they played a while back where
Federer
Federer
smoked
beat
him.
him by 40 racks. So
Yeah.
if anybody says that that's not in Carlo's head, they're dead wrong, because he's going to be thinking about it. I mean, right now, Federer, to me,
And that
even
was
though
really
they
before Federer was even Federer. Like, I mean, he
exactly,
was like on the upswing, but he wasn't where he's at right now when that match
right,
where he beat him by the 40.
and right now the Federer is even money to win the championship with most of the books out there, and to
Yeah.
me, that's a steal. I mean, I
Oh,
just don't see.
not laying a price is crazy, especially given. Listen, I picked Cledio before the tournament started. One of my two dark horses, and I put a post on there, kind of like patting myself on the back. But like
Right.
it's still like Federer's a massive favorite, just to go
Yes.
through that round. And because of like Ray mentioned, him playing on center court the entire tournament, given the fact that I hadn't even thought about that Carlo factor, because you consider Carlo a pretty decent sized favorite over Bernie, because there's just not, we don't have any proof saying the kid can go and beat a monster and a legend like a Carlo Beato on TV table
And
for a
it's
spot.
and it's his legend. It's from his
Yeah,
country.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like he's got to feel that a little bit too. So
100%. Yeah, no, there's like that. There's always been that transition for, and some players just kind of get stuck in this like all type attitude, and I love it because they pay respect. And Chua had it for a lot of years when it came to like the Co brothers and amongst others, all these legends of the game, and he would always say it like in his social media posts, and I always took it like a little, I don't want to say awkwardly, but it was just like, no, man, you got to be just as thirsty and looking for blood as those guys are, But like now he's transitioned into it and has become his own man and earned his own spot in there. And but for Federer, it's like, look, getting even money on him and not laying a price, I think, is crazy right now, just in terms of the experience, the name, the way he's been playing. He's obviously going to know the break on that table. He's obviously probably going to have like 2 or 3 options in terms of the break and what he'll need to do to go and adjust. But the one thing, and we'll go through the semifinals here in a little bit. If I were to give any kind of edge to Claudio, it's just his poise under pressure, because he, like Amir, he didn't look like he got too emotional. And Federer, although he can dominate, Federer can kind of get a little tilted one way or the other at times through a match if things aren't necessarily going his way, So I don't think he's been tested to this point outside of like a Jonas type match. But Cladio's the real deal, and you better give him the respect that he deserves, man. So, what about FSR, boys? What were your thoughts on him and his tournament that he had? Raymond, I'll start with you and kind of give me a gauge of where you think his season will end.
Yeah, I think FSR. Well, first of all, just speaking about the season and the impact of what this like today had, Claudio, I think, now moves into first place on the Team Europe Cup list, and I think Reyes Cup list as well. So, I mean, that's huge. The kid is kicking the door down and doing it at the right time at a huge tournament. So I think that's awesome. I also love how engaged his brother is, Big Kachi is. Like, you see him like on the sidelines there, coaching him through that last match, and like just kind of being around and being proud. You got to love that if you're a pool fan and somebody who just.
Well, there wasn't a lot of Kachi fans today because of social media, and since you brought it up, Ray, we might as well transition into that. I'm sure you guys saw Big Kachi's post regarding Waxgate 2.0, or at least the second day of it. I heard kind of, obviously the Filipinos get real protective and defensive, and they show a lot of love for their people, and I love that about them, by the way. But like, what do you think in terms of that? What he put out there to start the day in terms of merit and how much of a foundation he's got to go and stand on there?
I don't think he in any way like discredited himself. Like, I think that the points behind his post were, I want a fair match. I want the same equipment for everybody. And, if things are not on the square, then, whatever, he says, I could have just played bad. You know what I mean? But I've been playing pool for a long time, and I know when the conditions change. And so if he's calling it out, then, hey, he went through it, not me. And pool players know when things change. Like, we know when a rain cloud goes by outside and it gets sticky. You know what I mean? Now all of a sudden, the ball and the rails get short and things get bouncy and all that stuff. Like we're sensitive to that stuff because we're connected to the table. We know it better than the referees. We know it better than anybody else. So you're not going to tell somebody at that level, what didn't happen, right? I think if I still stand by what I said, if you feel that stuff going down, then talk to the ref, and say, hey, I want a new cue ball. Simple. That's it.
Yeah. What about you, Sean?
Well, I think I go back to when what was it? When Jonas was playing, was it Jeffrey, when he was talking about what was on the rail and the few tournaments ago, and
I think it was last year at this tournament.
Was it last year at this tournament?
So. Yeah.
Okay. Well, he brought it to the referee's attention, and nothing happened. So when people are saying, I've read all the comments and all the hate and all this stuff, and I mean it's kind of unwarranted because most of the people who are saying these things, even though I understand, Filipinos are very loyal and all that, to attack a player who, this is his job, this is what he knows. So if he sees something wrong, it's like taking your car to a mechanic. Yeah. And the mechanic saying, hey, you need something with your oil, you need this, you need that. And you go, no, you're just making that up. No, this is what they do. So they're going to notice things when they're not right. And I've seen proof online and all this stuff. And I do think it happens. I mean, people do try to take advantage because not for nothing, pool has just started becoming something again where, before you're fighting and you're trying to scrape by whatever you can do for your families and all that stuff. So I understand that aspect of it, but if all of these pros are saying, hey, there's something going on here, then there should be an investigation because, it's not fair because when you play at this level, that little bit of advantage is going to get you through. It is. So, I do think something has to happen because of all of this. And, it's sad because, people are throwing so much hate at Kachi. And Kachi, I know Kachi very well. He's a great guy. He would never come out and intentionally say something he didn't feel was true.
And he stands on business. He's not really like about the nonsense. You know what I mean? I've seen him.
He ain't want to get fucked with either, because
I've seen him take losses and not really pout or throw his cue. He just shakes hands like, I lost.
Exactly.
Like perfect gentleman.
And there's plenty of guys who will do that for sure. Who will just start coming out with excuses. And look, I think while I can agree to a lot of what you're saying, Pancake, like the proof part, I'm still having a hard time with. And I know there's a lot of smoke going on right now, but like to me, I just have a hard time getting there in terms of like, show me something. You know what I mean? And not just hearsay and opinion and what your interpretation is as far as what you saw. Now, I think a lot of those guys have legs to stand on, but like if let's say that situation that you brought up with Jonas, if that happens, you know what I'm doing? If I'm not happy with the result, hey, go get me somebody else.
Right.
Go get me somebody else. I want to talk to somebody else. And when I don't like what that guy's got to say, go get me somebody else. I'll walk off. I'll go talk to Emily. I'll go talk to Marcel. I'll go talk to whoever the fuck I got to go talk to if I feel that I'm right. Valid. You know what I mean? I got something to go and stand on. I want to bring in some big guns though to go and talk about this topic. He's not short when it comes to opinions, and certainly isn't short when it comes to putting his foot in his mouth. And probably the best 550 you'll ever hear in your life.
Whoa!
I don't think.
Calm down. I'm exactly 550. So
no disrespect, Pancake. Collins, give me your thoughts on everything that's been going on in terms of this whole situation.
I am all about making sure that nobody is trying or actually finding an illegitimate angle to get like an edge on their opponents, right? Like I'm all about making sure that we follow up with that. But dude, pool players, I know a specific pool player that used to change his cue butt like 6 times in a match.
Very sensitive, yeah.
And you know what I'm talking about, Mike. You know the guy I'm talking about. It's like, skeletons in the closet or ghosts or monsters under the bed are a pool player's worst enemy, right? So even if it is just like, here's the worst part about it. Even if it is something that only happened on 1 match or it only happened on 2 matches. Well, now pool players are going to start feeling like, am I getting angled right now? Did that one feel funny? You know what I mean? Because it is such a sensitive game. And because they do know so well, it's like, it's a really tricky situation. So, yeah, I don't know. Obviously, you can't know without hitting the ball yourself 100%, but or picking it up and feeling the thing. But yeah,
Look,
I've
like
seen the question in the chat. Sorry. I've seen the question in the chat a couple of times. If a player feels like something is wrong, why didn't they point it out in the match? You know?
Yeah, and that's my point. Like to me, if you're a player, you have to be your own best advocate. Like you have to know how to defend yourself against all the moves. I've had a few moves. The best way to learn is to have the moves pulled on you, and you're like, oh, that was a good one. I'll write that one down. Add it to the list. 15, 20 years down the line, now you've seen most of them. You know what I mean? You paid your dues a little bit. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is saying, hey, I don't like what's going on here, and bring it up, and
I mean, we had an issue just out there at Junior Nationals with a specific young player. I'm spacing on his name right now, Mike, but he was in a situation where a foul was not called in his match, and it was a pivotal point in the match.
Yeah.
And his opponent so his opponent fouled, no rail, and then he didn't advocate for himself, so he comes up and tries to hit a ball, doesn't get a rail, and so the ref gives ball in hand to his opponent, right? And it's like, if you don't, it's a good learning experience for him because he's young, right? And he's in the Junior Nationals, and he's a better player for it, right? But if it's in the World Championships for $250,000, it's like, why wouldn't you in the middle of a match? We've seen Federer on camera scolding the ref for not telling him he had 10 seconds.
Well, he had a point to make, which I madly respect, because he was not gonna let it go until he got his point across, and
he
listen,
said that is unacceptable. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, that much money really is unacceptable. Like, this is the standard. Everybody's got to do it.
Yeah.
And his accent got deeper too as he was explaining it too.
Real American.
He was putting some bass in his voice for sure.
That was some Lewis stuff right there.
Look,
and did you notice for the rest of that match that no matter how easy the shot, he made sure that guy said 10 every single shot after that. Yeah. He was making sure that he was saying.
Sometimes you got to go and check them, man. Sometimes you got to go and check people, and it may not always be the most popular thing to go and do, and especially how far you go and take it. You know what I mean? But if you're not willing to fight for yourself in the moment, don't go. I just don't like this. Like, I'm going to use third parties to go and advocate on my behalf when it's like, listen, if you're not willing to go to bat for you or to go to battle for you in that spot, like, just you got to pick a better time to go and get after it, in my opinion. And especially right now, listen, all this talk was low hanging fruit after everything kind of got ablazed here. But no, listen, I think that there's been a lot of passion both ways, and so anytime you get passionate fans, I feel like that's part of sports. And to your comment, Pancake, earlier, I think like you get that kind of like really raw vitriol from sports fans in any other sport, and we're just not used to it in pool.
Right.
Pool's right. Like the only place where it's just like, he's down on the ball. But go watch the dude take a free throw in the finals. You know what I mean? Go watch him in the NCAA championship, whatever it is. Everyone's trying to shark and get in their heads or whatever, and then they're on Twitter and they're talking shit to their favorite players, hoping they get a little bit of response on the back end, because some of people like the trolls being fed, and so we're just not used to it in our sport. And I feel like that's where there's a little bit, and listen, people can be sensitive too. Players can be sensitive in terms of the things you go and say about them. I just think that like when you start making accusations to people, and I said this the other day, it's like, you better make sure you can cross your T's and dot your I's, not just how you take things, especially depending on the position you're in or what you think you're in. Make sure whenever you're questioning someone's integrity and that's how they go and make a living, like, just be thorough before you go out there and hit that post button.
Did you, by chance, guys, this was during the Amir and Claudio match, after, he called the push and was penalized later on in that match. I don't know if you guys noticed this.
A couple games later.
Amir got behind the 7 ball where he had to kick at the 6. He ended up missing it, hitting the rail and then hitting the 6. And no ball in hand was called.
No. Yeah. Thankfully, Claudio was in natural shape, but the
exactly.
didn't say ball in hand, and Cledio just got up and ran the balls out. You know, what I
I'm
mean?
yelling at my phone like, "You're not going to call ball in hand on this? Like,
Yeah, the
what
referee
is
slept
this?
it. Yeah, the referee slept the ball in hand call.
That was awful. I mean, what if he wasn't and he had to shoot a tougher angle and miss the ball? I mean,
I'm not shooting that ball if I'm Claudio. You have like to Colin's point, you have to go and advocate for yourself in that moment. And listen, that the difference in prize money right now is bigger in this tournament than any other. It's only once in the year, and that goes a long way for these guys.
That's what I mean. Did Cledio know? Like, did he know that it was?
He was probably looking down and just kind of like, just not paying attention. I'm assuming, because if I see the shot, we all know what ball in hand looks like. I'm asking for ball in hand. You know what I mean?
Right,
like
exactly.
I can tell you, Federer would be just standing there. He'd walk up to the table and just stand there and look at the ref. He'd just be like, "Hello, what are we doing?"
Yeah.
You have to.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one that missed it.
You have to be that passionate, and you have to stand your ground. And listen, there's been a lot of issues with the refs throughout that, and that's a whole other topic of discussion, for me, because there's a lot of guys who do refereeing that do a solid job. But there's also, it seems like in this tournament, a lot of incompetence going on and lack of experience. And I'll never forget when the tournament was first starting off and Matchroom and all their, social media stuff. It was Double J doing like a little pseudo racking clinic with these guys and showing them how to rack the balls. And I'm like, hold on, this isn't like you're not playing at fucking Chester's down the road. Like, this is the World Championships. What are we doing having a school here going on before day one starts? You know what I mean? Like, everything, because of how sensitive players can be, how tilted they can go and be, the weight of each match and how much it increases in prize money. There's so many factors where it's like, if in that regard, you really have to give it the respect that it deserves, and that's even through hiring competent reps to go and do that job.
Right. Yeah, you can't. I spoke with a player who's a good friend of mine who made the last 32. Who he said when he would break, he would have one ref come over, and then when the other guy would break, another ref would come over, and the other ref he knew was a way better racker. And then he would break dry, and I'm just like, they have multiple refs racking on all these tables. Like, to me, it's
that's
like
sad.
You got to have one guy on this table so they get the same rack.
Yeah,
the consistency has to be there. I mean, that's not right.
Well, then imagine if that guy's going to slug you. You got the slug, and now the other guy comes in and gives the other one a better rack.
Exactly.
And then now listen, we saw that Amir match turn on its head after a missed push-out call. If guys know how to break and they're finding their rhythm, that one mistake can easily turn into 3 or 4 in a blink of an eye.
Yeah. That ref racked very well for that match. Yeah. I'll say whoever that ref was, he did good.
They were breaking the balls great as well, because Amir and Claudio were both making the one with pretty good consistency. I want to transition, boys, over to the semifinals. Collins, I'll start with you and your guy, because you're Team FG. So Federer against Claudio tomorrow. Obviously, I know who you like, but talk me through your thought process a little bit.
I mean, Federer's playing some of the best pool we've seen him play in a while. Like in for the whole tournament, every time he's been on the TV table, he's been looking really, really solid. I didn't get a chance to watch this match with Jonas, and I saw that Jonas got one away from the hill against him. I don't know what the score line looked like. I didn't have time to watch it. But all the other times that I've had a chance to watch him, he's jumping the ball great. He's breaking really solid. Getting fairly consistent results and controlling the table really well. So it's like he's the man to beat in the tournament.
What say you, Ray?
Yeah, I think Federer's the man to beat. I think all the other players left in the tournament are capable of beating him, but they have to play their absolute best against him. And I think he has to just show up and keep doing what he's doing. And that's enough to put immense pressure on everybody else, And I think he's been there before. He's playing more solid. To Pancake's point earlier, he's playing better this year than he did last year, and he won the tournament. Obviously, all that matters is tomorrow, really. But Federer's locked in on his routine. He's not going to do anything that's going to put him out of commission for tomorrow. He's gonna eat right. He's going to train. He's going to sleep, and he's going to wake up to go through his routine. He's got it kind of boiled down, and he looks too consistent at every level. Whereas the other guys have little areas where, they have to you know, they just have to play their absolute best, you know. And I think Federer's the guy right now. So
That jump shot is absolutely deadly. Because, like, think about, I wonder if we could find some type of statistic or a way to figure out throughout the tournament of all the players in the field who has been in a jump shot situation and converted that to how many racks or how many scores on the board. He's got to be like way out ahead of everyone else, and it's probably going to come up a few times in the next match.
Well, he is the best in the world. So
yeah,
especially, I mean, Claudio had a hell of a jump shot.
I saw that.
Match.
He did.
That was a great jump shot. But yeah, I mean, I don't think, you know, Claudio also had 3 miscues that if he does that against Federer, it's lights out. So I mean, he has to play perfect. If he plays perfect and Federer doesn't, he's got a chance.
Yeah.
He's got to play like Carlo did against Little Co, because that was like a heavyweight battle back and forth. Like, I remember texting Mike at around 5-5, and I was like, I think Little Co's about to run away with it. But like, Carlo's heart and his fight was just not to be denied. And it was like some scrappy, work your ass off type racks that he had to barrel through in order to get that win. And at the end, he pulled away. But that scoreline was very deceiving compared to how competitive that match was, especially through like 15, 16 games. In my opinion, Federer is the man for a reason. He's only gotten stronger, to Colin's point, you know, and the more he's obviously going to be comfortable out there. Claudio's going to be like a deer in headlights, so to speak, in terms of the experience on that table. You know, he's going to be completely out of his norm. And I know that, look, Big Brother was there last year, and you can get in his head a little bit and give him a pep talk and try to coach him up as best you can. And that's going to serve him well. And I'm sure they have many discussions about that and probably continue tonight. But like Pancake said, you're going to have a perfect set and hope to get a little bit of a roll. I do think, though, that Claudio's break can sit Federer down for a little bit, you know. And if you can go and pepper him with 3, let Federer feel a little bit of heat, and then we'll see how it ends up. But everything's got to come together in order to beat that dude in that round, especially fighting for $250,000 up top, man. So it's going to be a great match, though. I'm going to be on the edge of my seat watching it, man, because the storyline either way is going to be awesome. Down below, you got two Filipinos, Bernie Regalario and Carlo Beato. Pancake, I'll start with you. Who do you got, and why do you got him?
I mean, you can't. Another, you know, the whole experience factor. You know, Carlo is, you know, tested. I think I saw he made 16 or 17 quarterfinals or final 16s in this tournament, and he's just he's ultimate consistency. You know, he's right there all the time. Bernie is a great player, but he's going to have, like I said, that factor of, you know, they're from the same place. He looks up to Carlo. He's going to feel that, you know. But it's like you said with Claudio, you know, if he can run a little 3-pack on him, maybe to start the set, he's got a chance. But I think if Carlo gets up a couple games, it's he's going to be in awe watching him, you know, like it's still one of his heroes. So, you know, it's you know, I hope the young guy gets it done, because I'd like to see something different in the final. You know, Federer Carlo is what everyone's predicting. You know, there's nothing. I haven't heard anybody say any different. So I know you think Bernie can definitely do it. He's got the firepower.
Well,
it's just a matter of
I'm more just bandwagon the picks that I've been having the last and just riding that wave till the end. You know what I mean? Like, look, on paper, you can't argue their pedigree, and they have a reputation and a big shadow for a reason, and it's because of their history. It's because of their success on the biggest of stages, right? You just name an event, they've won it before in Federer and Carlos. So like they earn that right to be favorites, and anybody who says otherwise is just lying to themselves. Now, sports can be a little volatile, you know, and I think we all know that. And pool, especially, can be a little crazy. Before I give out my picks, Collins, I want to go with you here on this Bernie and Carlo and who you got and why.
So I don't know what the timestamp is, but we just covered a local event here at it was the Jim Fabianar 9-ball tournament. There's somewhere in one of those videos where one of the guys in the booth asked me for the world championship before it even started. Look what he said. Look, I know you think Federer's, you know, you want him to be the defending champion. And obviously, like, Federer, Filler, Shane, aside from those guys, who's your pick to be the world championship or the world champion? And the first name out of my mouth was Carlo Beato. It just seems like in these massive, massive tournaments, the ones that like have so much prestige, like the U.S. Open and the World Championships and the World Cup of Pool, like all those big moment tournaments, the guy just gets there. He's just constantly getting there. Semifinals, finals, quarterfinals, all the time. It feels like he's always there. So I would not be surprised if he finds a way to take the whole thing. So, yeah.
What do you got, Ray?
Well, I think, the Filipinos in the final 64 put up huge numbers of players, and now they're guaranteed a finalist in the World Championship. So I know a lot of Filipino fans excited for tomorrow for the possibility of bringing another world champion in. I think Carlo was the last one, if I'm not mistaken, right? He won the last world
2018,
18 or 19, yeah. So I mean, he's the leader of that crew. I think they all look up to him as the guy. Carlo's the man to beat. I think Bernie is impressive. I saw his match with FSR, and he really put on a clinic and just played fantastic. I mean, obviously he's in the semifinals, so I mean, he's got to be playing.
right.
And he's 20, so maybe he has this like young, just like ignorant confidence. You know what I mean? Where he just has immense self-belief and goes out there attacking and firing. But there's this like big brother energy that you have to fade that sometimes takes a lifetime to fade. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter who you are. Like Michael Jordan's entire like career was fueled by the fact that his brother used to just trounce on him when he was a little kid,
right?
And he wanted to like take out that anger on the world. So I mean, I think it'll be a fun match. I think it'll be a close match. But I'm expecting Carlo to edge it out, maybe like 11-8 or so. With Federer and Cledio, I kind of just think Federer's going to continue to do Federer things. He probably wins 11-6. I think it's going to be a blockbuster final either way. But yeah, I think just Federer is just super, super, super consistent. Now, can somebody put together a big set and take him out? That's timing and how the rolls happen, and we'll see.
Look, you get reputations like I mentioned because of history, and in order to go and earn that, you have to go and beat big names in big spots. The Federer wasn't Federer for a while. It was SVB, it was all these other monsters, it was Efren, you name it, it was Earl, all these champions, but they earned the way that people perceive them because of their accomplishments, and so for these young kids, like, while it's great and all, and they're great stories, and I love great stories, it's like those two guys are still the guys to go and beat in this tournament, and on paper they're deservingly the favorites going into those semifinals for sure tomorrow. Look, I think this tournament has been a little chaotic at times, a lot chaotic at times. We've seen, no disrespect, we've seen Casper beat SVB and everything had to come together. We've seen some like wacky finishes where Max takes out, Josh in the round of 64 where nobody, would have gone and predicted it. SVB loses the first one to Thien, and it's just like so many things have kind of gone a little haywire, except against Federer and except against Carlo, and that's the thing. Both those guys know how to fight. They're going to be tough to beat. Both those young kids can go and do it. I'm rooting for Bernie. I'm rooting for Cledio. But until you get there, you got to go and earn it the hard way. So, Hank, let me ask you this on the degenerate note: what would I get on a little like on a little like money line parlay if I'm taking both Bernie and Cledio in their matches for winner?
Let me warn you, Pancake. Let me warn you, no matter what you offer him, it's not enough.
Oh, yeah. No, I understand that.
Pancake knows.
I have history with it.
Yeah, we've danced before.
He's very good at this. He's very good at this. I haven't seen the lines yet. They haven't come out, but I'm guessing that Federer's got to be at least a 3-1 favorite. So you're getting about 175 probably back on Cledio, and I would say Beato's probably 220 to about 160. So you're looking at plus 170 and plus 160. So it's probably you're probably getting 5-1 on your money on a 2-teamer if you did it. I mean, I wouldn't offer it because especially against you because I never beat you before. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally
At 5-1, I would fire it. I'm not gonna lie.
of course, I know
5-1.
you would.
Yeah.
And I
You would.
would sit there, and Claudio would win 11-2, and Bernie 11-1, and I would just sit there and go,
Yes.
"This guy, like, what the heck, man?"
The
But yeah,
reverse.
no, that's probably what the lines are going to be. I'll find out in the morning. But yeah, it's cool, right? If anybody's familiar with the movie Little Giants, man, and it only takes one time, right? So they could beat you 9 out of 10, but you got a chance.
The annexation of Puerto Rico.
That's right.
Here
The
you go.
Berminator shows up, and you're in trouble.
There you go, man. All right, I want to get your outright winners and give me your score. Ray, I'll start with you. Who do you got, and how is this tournament going to end tomorrow?
I think I like Federer 11-6 over Cledio and Beato 11-8 over Bernie. And then if it's Federer Carlo in the finals, I think I like what is it, race to 13 in the final?
15.
15? Okay.
Yeah, I believe so.
Healthy.
I like Federer more longer races, so like 15 9 Federer over Carlo.
That's fair.
Collins, what do you got?
I was going to say everything the same except 15-11. I think Carlo gets closer. Yeah, I don't know.
But you got Federer and Carlo meeting in the finals.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Pancake.
Yep, same thing. I think Federer's going to beat Claudio 11-4, and I think Carlo wins 11-7, and then the final I'll do 15-13 Federer.
Oh, you want a nail biter?
I like
I
that.
just think
I like that. Let's
well,
get a
I just
sweater in.
think
Yeah.
with even though Federer has the advantage as far as winning the tournament from last year, Carlo's been in plenty of these pressure situations, so I think it's going to be a lot of back and forth, a lot of what you saw with Federer and Cacci last year. And I mean, obviously, entertainment purposes, that's what the people want to watch. But I just think, like I said, Federer's just a little bit better. He's been on table 1 since Thursday. So I think
he's been on table 1 since last year. Since like midweek last year.
That's the other thing. It's his table.
Fuck, man.
so.
You may as well send it home with him.
Yeah,
Jeez.
so that's what I said. That's what I said before he came on, Collins. I said, if he wins this thing, just give him the table too.
No,
It's
he
fine.
lives
It's
here.
fine.
Just have him
That'd
write off
be-
his tax to the address of that table, wherever it is.
He should definitely sign the table after he wins.
Right.
Look, I can't. Just for the sake of the show, I can't have 4 picks the same
pick
way
the
in
other
terms
way.
of the winner. In terms of the winner and the finalists. Look, I'm going a little chaos here. I'm not going full. I'm not going like full Joker mode though, where I'm just want to watch the world
World burn.
Okay? Yeah. For a gambling, I'll throw a little sweater on there. And Alan, I may send you a PM, buddy. But no, from look, I think Claudio pulls an upset tomorrow. I think he's got that kind of game to put it together against Federer, and just the way that he can just be like just indifferent out there. Never high, never low, just kind of stays the course and just makes balls, gets tight position, makes smart decisions. Like the jump Q factor is a whole other level when it comes to playing against Federer, because your safety play has to be a whole different level in order to lock Federer up, and that part can get to you mentally. But I'm going Claudio over Federer. I'm going like 11-7 Claudio. The Carlo match against Bernie. I picked Bernie. I've been riding that Bernie bandwagon. I think it ends tomorrow. I think Carlo wins that match. The same 11-7. I'm going Carlo. Bernie's a hell of a fighter, and he's got a bright future, as do both those young men. But I'm going Carlo in that one. And then in the finals, look, that fight that Carlo put up against Little Co was really telling for me, and I give that a lot of value, because to me that was the equivalent of any championship on earth. And listen, I know that Federer's the man to beat, but that little dude from Taiwan was also a man to beat in this tournament. He was as big a name as Federer was without winning that championship last year, especially in that round of the tournament. Carlo's been there. He's done that. I think he's going to be there and do it again. Give me Carlo Beato for his second World 9-ball championship, 15-11. It'll be a little close, but he'll close it out at the end. That dude's got like unbelievable heart, unbelievable fight. He never gives up. And maybe it's just the fan of Carlo in me, but yeah, I'm going.
He's a classic
guy
too. He's one of the he's like a statesman too. He's not like
Oh, he's a great guy.
there's never shenanigans with him.
He's a great guy.
No,
and then
I think he just earns respect, from the way he carries
Yeah.
himself, the way he's a professional, like in so many aspects, and you've never heard someone say something negative about him anywhere. And I've been a fan of that dude for forever. Why I got up a little second ago was because I was looking for this photo that I have somewhere of Carlo winning his last world championship. And I remember hitting up his wife for an autograph all those years ago, and they sent it to me, and I got it somewhere in my office. I just can't find it where it's at, but I'm rooting for Carlo for tomorrow. I think he's going to get.
Did you guys see that video of him floating around when the referee was marking the cue ball to clean it, but it was ball in hand?
Yeah,
And he asked
I looked on his
for
face.
another. Can we get another referee?
He said, "No, give me another ref." He's like, they're done with it, dude. It's crazy.
He was nice about it though. He wasn't. He's just like, can we get someone else here, please?
About as nice as you can be, I think.
He was marking where the cue ball was. Oh.
Yeah,
You
he was
can't make
trying
that
to
kind of
clean
shit
it, so
He
he
was
put
so
the
shook.
thing there to clean the cue ball, and
He was
Carlo
so
literally reaches in, picks it up.
That's
and
how
says,
that's
"It's
how
ball
much
in
that
hand."
they're in his head. They're in those refs' heads. They didn't want to fucking the whole thing.
He
at
was
This
all.
guy didn't know
They
what
did
was
not-
going on.
Yeah.
He didn't know what was
He
going
was
on.
so shook. Amazing.
And have you guys mentioning Little Co? Have you seen a set ever since he played Yap where anybody has ever played better? Because every time I watch him play, that expectation of what I saw at the U.S. Open when he played Yap, I don't think there's ever been a tournament match that's been televised that went that way. Like that's how dominant that match was.
Mhm.
Maybe that
Like,
Kachi
that was-
match against Alex, where I think he broke.
Oh yeah,
and
he
ran
won the
set.
lag.
He broke
Yeah.
and ran the set. Didn't he break and run the set?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't
when was
televised,
that?
it was
When was
streamed.
that?
So,
2000.
the moments apples and oranges, Pancake, because it was like the West Coast tour at like
Oh,
Dead
okay,
Shooters or
okay.
something in
Yeah.
Arizona. But it was a big
Yeah.
match. I mean, literally they flipped the coin. Kachi wins Kachi wins the flip or the lag, whatever it was, and then just breaks and runs over and over and over again. I love that
Didn't
about
Max
pool
Lecter
and
do the
sport.
same thing to Shane Van Boening? Wasn't that one of his breakout moments or something?
Who?
Max Lechner had a set like that too. I think at some point. I think it was versus Shane where he won the lag and ran like it was like 8, 9, or 10.
Oh wow.
But that was a
Okay.
stream match, not a televised match. Same thing.
This comment right here, Koping Chung's as tough as Federer. And you know what, to be honest with you, like outside of like me rooting for my picks, right, that I made pre-tournament, like I thought they were on a one-way street to go and meet in the final was Little Co and Federer, because they looked like they were both playing at that kind of gear. All the respect to everybody. I want to get you guys out of here on this news today about Team Europe versus the world. I know who I'm thinking is going to be
Asia versus the world.
or Team Asia. Sorry, Team Asia versus the world. Pancake, what are your thoughts, and give me what you think the line's going to be by the time kickoff happens.
Well, I heard it, and I know it's exciting because everybody thinks it makes it more even because we can take players from everywhere. But I'm actually against it. I think what it's going to do, it's going to tarnish what we have in the Mosconi Cup, because I don't want to see my guys playing with Team Europe, and then all of a sudden, a couple months later, we're enemies. It just, to me, it's a little too much. Like I understand you want to, make it more, I guess, fair, but I mean, all these guys can play pool. So last year, Europe got their chance. This year, the United States should have gotten their chance. And I just think listen. I don't want to see Josh Filler and Federer on the same team, and then 2 months later,
You're going to see.
I understand that, but 2 months later, now all of a sudden we're enemies. It's just it desensitizes the matchup, and in my opinion, because they're trying to get that same feel, with the Reyes Cup, and it's just not going to be that way. They're trying, but it's not going to be that way. And now they're ruining it.
I think I kind of agree with Pancake. I think from a product standpoint, it disconnects the the flow of using the Mosconi Cup using the Reyes Cup as an incentive for the two teams fighting for the Mosconi Cup, right? Like if we win this, we get this extra bonus of getting a chance to compete against Team Asia. You know what I mean? And whatever the outcome is, I think the iteration cycle is too fast here. Like we just had the first one, and now it's like it's cool because you get the All-Stars, right? It's like just like an All-Star game, but like the All-Star game doesn't mean anything really. You know what I mean? Right now, like nobody cares about the All-Star game anymore because
especially the way that it's been. Ain't nobody playing no defense.
They've tinkered with it to the point now where it's just like nobody tries, and it's like it's just a gimmick. I like the idea of like if the Mosconi Cup is going to hold its prestige, we're to have Team USA and Team Europe, they're fighting for something, throughout the season, and there's points that go into that. Then the winning team, goes on and gets a chance to compete against Team Asia. And
if we beat Team Asia, you're going to see Federer, Shane, Josh Filler jumping on the table celebrating that, and then 2 months later fight. I don't like it.
And now you have an extension of like.
For the record, both of y'all all bet on Team USA like a bunch of suckers every year.
Yeah,
okay, so
I'm
just
for my
full disclosure.
I'm sorry.
Just for full disclosure.
You don't like it here, Mike? You don't like it here, Mike?
I'm happy to captain the team for free.
You don't like that office you're sitting in, Mike? Is that it?
You don't like freedom?
Shock and awe. Listen, for me, I like the idea of like preserving the continuity of these products. The Mosconi Cup is Team USA, Team Europe, and then having that connected to the Reyes Cup. Now there's like, oh man, Europe is fighting all year to try and get a chance to get to both of these opportunities to compete. They can double dip, or USA gets an opportunity. Maybe that leads to another product down the line, South America or whatever. However else we want, but like preserving the integrity of each team and how they progress and incentivizing them getting better to get more opportunities, I think sells the broader package as a whole better than just saying, oh, we're going to have Team Asia because they had one great tournament. They're unbeatable. I don't necessarily think they're unbeatable. I don't think anybody's unbeatable in a team.
Not in races to 5.
Yeah, not in this game, no.
So I don't think we have enough tenure within the format to start tinkering. I love the idea of the Reyes Cup.
I can agree with that. I still wouldn't send Team USA out there, but I can agree that it seems a little like snap judgment to go and send out somebody else. Although I do love the event that they announced, but I still would love to see
the idea is a nice idea. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. We're not saying that, but this is not like they've done these like challenges in the past. You know what I mean? In the Philippines, and they've had these. They're okay, but they're kind of like. They're thin. They're like little, it's like having too much cotton candy. You know what I mean? Do we want to, I think if you continue to hold on to the idea of like preserving the teams, Europe has a huge pool of players they can all pull from. If they freaking get there and they earn the points and they win the Mosconi Cup, they get a chance to fight Team Asia. That's a second thing, and you preserve that. If Team USA comes up and they beat Team Europe and now they get to go up against like Team Asia, now it means extra. But like, to take apart like, oh, now we're going to captain's pick 2 people because none of the Americans outside of Federer is going to earn, is going to maybe make the team outright.
Exactly.
They come to okay, so now he's on Team USA and he's on this world team. I don't know.
And if you watched Emily's announcement, she mentioned SVB 3 times playing in this. So I mean, right now he wouldn't make it on points, and who's going to pick him as a captain's pick or a wild card because he doesn't do well in these competitions. No, it's known. So you're going to pick him over Jason Shaw? Like right now, if you guys had a choice between Shane or Jason playing in the Reyes Cup, who are you going to pick?
They're both getting picked, Pancake. I hate to break your heart. They're both.
But I'm just saying, because it's 3 of them are going to be points based. So you're saying the 2 wild cards would be SVB and Jason?
As it stands right now, 100%, 1,000,000% it would be. I think now whether I agree with it or not is a different story, and you make a lot of great points there. But before I go on a tangent here, Collins, give me your thoughts on that. I don't want to leave you out, buddy. I know you get real sensitive.
No, my first gut reaction when that was announced, I just try to look at it from like a content creator's perspective, right? And maybe this is playing devil's advocate a little bit, but like I don't know. I've kind of like made my brand on doing things a little bit different than everyone, right? But it is also like really important to know who your target audience is, right? So
Yep.
like hear me out on this idea, right? If they're trying to make pool a more generally consumed thing entertainment wise, then their target audience is not us. Their target audience is everyone else in the world, and maybe they're just trying to make this big moment that maybe the world might start paying attention to. Maybe that's their goal. I have no idea, but
Has to be, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, from a pool purist perspective, it's a terrible idea, you know, because we know the players and we know like the emotional connections between everybody, but we have that benefit because we're such a small community. But like on the world stage, and they are trying to make it like a world stage type game, I don't know, someone who only watches pool 2 or 3 times a year, maybe that's the one thing that they're super excited to watch. It's like, oh my gosh, that's right. This thing with pool is coming up. We know everyone out in Asia is like got this reputation for having the best players in the world, and now the rest of the world's going to try to beat them. That's kind of cool. So like I can get what they're trying to get at, but you also kind of have to stay in your lane a little bit too. Maybe the world isn't ready for that. Maybe there aren't enough people paying attention in the first place, where like you can actually have like a negative viral effect where like if your main audience doesn't show up in the first place, then no one else knows it's even happening, right? So it's like, I don't know, it's a risk, and I respect taking the risk, but we'll see how it pans out.
Yeah, I agree with the ending there for sure in regards to taking that risk and respecting it. But I feel like to a big extent, they also have this like personality complex because they don't know who the fuck they're trying to go and cater to depending on the day. You know, they're pushing Goldstein versus Earl. What purist is going to enjoy that? And for that matter, if you're trying to get the guys who are clicking on Andy Goldstein's post, are you going to want to watch him get beat 9-0 and say, hey, I want to go and watch more of that? No, you're not going to want to watch that either, you know, from just enjoying sports. So like there's a really like conflicted view as far as what they're trying to do to some extent. Now, I think this is a little different, you know, but look, I love the idea. Go ahead, Collins.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, like, there is some truth, again, from the content creation perspective of if you have a formula that works, you're supposed to try to replicate that formula with different variations, right? Like if you look across YouTube, right, you'll see a YouTube short where a guy is testing different types of rounds of ammunition against this target. And now I'm going to try it against this target and see if it gets through, right? It's like they come up with a formula. They know that it works. Let me represent it reframed. And so that's obviously what they're trying to do here, but it kind of just feels like they're punching around in the dark a little bit because they don't have any better ideas.
Yeah.
I mean, why not have a draft instead of this? Like, I understand they want to put the countries and stuff like that.
Give me that all day long, Pancake.
But have a draft. Take the 2 guys who have the most money earned. They're the captains, and yeah, okay, 1 and 2, and just let them go at it. Just pick your team and let's have at it, because to me that's more fair.
Team filler?
Yeah, something like that.
Esports, by the way, that format is huge and very
something like that. Because not for nothing. I mean, I'd like to see maybe Yap and Feder play on the same team, something like that, where you really have the top of the top playing another team that has every bit of chance of winning. Something like that, I think, is much better than what they're trying to do here. I just, like I said, it's diluting the Kool-Aid. It tasted fine, and now they're trying to
No,
water
let me tell
it
you
down.
what else dilutes the Kool-Aid is year after year getting smoked 11-3, or 11-4. That dilutes it. And you can't.
But do you understand? But hold on. Do you understand? It's literally a couple of rolls here or there, and we're right there. If you watch those matches, 3 or 4 shots every time seem to go against us.
We also we also do everything possible to not prepare and go into let's go on a drunk bender the night before and then go,
put it out there, Ray.
The level of like separation from like the actual process that has to go through. Like Europe has their process. They don't advertise it every year, but every year they have challenge matches as a team before they go play USA. Last year they got the luxury of having a challenge match against Team Asia, and they got their nuts shot in. But that was a practice round, and that was like, oh yeah,
right, we should have got the practice match this go around.
We were in Texas. We didn't even go get together some guys from APA to go play against. Nothing. Like we didn't get college team. Nothing. We didn't get anything. There was like zero care and preparation. So like
they all went in the sauna together.
If you want to set up a system where you can try and replicate an opportunity to lose 11 times in a row, that's what you do. You just do that every year, and you're probably going to have 1 or 2 years where it's close, but then you're going to get rolled over, So, like, I think Europe, they have it figured out. They know what they have to do to go in there to go prepare, and we have guys that don't take it seriously.
Well,
enough.
they're
Like,
stealing, Ray. That's the other side. They got a little cocky, and
they're definitely
and they
stealing.
earn that with the way they play. Hey, listen,
they're definitely stealing if like you just don't prepare at all. Like they're just definitely stealing. Now, if you prepare,
nobody's stealing in a race to 5, guys.
I agree.
Nobody's stealing in a race to 5.
Pancake, but keep your phone on whenever we get off here. I want to take Team Europe blindly this year.
100%, dude. I'm ready. We're winning this year.
For just a little,
no doubt, no doubt. Did you see?
This is what I love about sports.
Did you see the list? Listen, Cladio's jumping in the lead, so he's gonna be. You're gonna have so many rookies on that European team. It's gonna be wonderful.
You better hope so. You better hope so.
Love it. Yeah. I'm gonna love it.
All right, who would you? Ray, let me get you out of here on this, and we'll cut it off. We'll have a lot more time to talk about this in the next coming months.
Don't get me on tilt with the Mosconi Cup. It's July, bro. Come on.
I know. Listen, I love it. It doesn't matter. We can just get
do this trend. Yeah. This is rage bait. This is what it is. They do this also.
Team Asia versus the world. Who are you picking, Ray? Who are you betting on?
Let me see. If I had a world team, who would I put? I would put Federer, Filler, Jason, Sky. In that format is really good.
Yeah.
Maybe who's a decent player? Who do I like in that?
SVB is getting on that team, Ray. Whether you like it or not, he's getting on that team.
It's the world, right? You could pick anyone in the world, so it doesn't have to be from Europe, or it could be other places, right?
What are you getting at, Pancake?
It's the world, yeah.
What about a Middle Eastern guy?
Amir?
Amir would be a great guy to slot in.
Why not?
Put him in.
In the world? From a mark. Well, he ain't Mr. Personality, but I would throw him in.
Cold as ice. He's our closer. He's Mariano. Let's go.
Looks like he's 45 years old. He's 27.
He won't
make Exactly, Collins. He's lived his life. He's ready.
He looks like he's been through some shit. Like he's seen some. He's seen some things in his life.
100%. Give him a race to 5. He'll eat it up.
Man, right there at 27.
Why not? He's a great fifth. He's a great fifth.
Great slot guy that just sit in there and just drill you. Yeah, he reminds me a little bit of like, his style.
He can stare down Kwok the whole time. They'll just stare at each other and not say a word. That's how.
That's stare down. I buy into because he might end up murdering somebody. You know what I mean?
Both of them don't say a word. They're just killers.
Yeah, I think it's a pick 'em between if you have like the 5 like from Europe and USA and top 5 Asians. I still think there's a little bit more synergy in the Western countries because there's some depending on who makes it for Team Asia like. There's a little bit language barrier stuff, but they went out there, they executed, they played great. So I think it'll be a good show, and I think it'll be a pick 'em between the two. Asia's probably maybe a hair the favorite just because they're defending champions and they have Efren sitting up there. But I think it'll be close.
So who are you taking, Ray? After all that, who the fuck are you taking in that match?
Is Shane on the team?
Yes, Shane's on the team.
You picked him.
Okay, here's the caveat with Shane. This is my theory with Shane. If you put Shane where he's like the 3 or 4 guy, he's like the slot guy where the pressure's not on him at all, then I think you probably see him out there playing great because he feels like they're going to win. Like if he's got Filler, Federer, and Jason on his squad, and he can just chill, just slot in there. It doesn't have to be the show guy. It doesn't have to be the face guy. He can be that in the back, hammer down and crush you. And he goes out there and really gives it for him. I think that team, like Filler, Federer, Jason, Shane, and like a Sky, something like that. I think that's a winning team.
What do you say, Collins?
I've just got so much PTSD from the times that Shane and Federer shat the bed.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I feel like if you put those two guys on the same team together, we can't win.
Yeah,
I love that.
We got
1,700 combined Fargo can't win with those guys.
It feels like
drawing dead.
Pancake, what about you?
because the Asians are just gonna go out there and just like they're just gonna execute.
Yeah.
Carlos gonna shoot
Yeah.
your nuts in. Chua's gonna shoot your nuts in. They're all just gonna, Marvin the Martian's over there is gonna just fireballs in that don't belong going in. He's gonna shoot them at warp speed and run out.
Yeah, Team Asia would win that for sure. But I think like I said, I would think obviously Filler and Federer would be on the team.
Yeah.
I really don't want SVB on the team.
Neither do I.
I just don't think he's good in that format. It would probably be, a couple other European players. But like I said, from what I saw today, I would take Amir in a heartbeat as my
Yeah,
fifth.
the wild card, hell yeah.
100%.
Why not?
It is the rest of the world, and for Matchroom it would be good too because it's
Matchroom
bringing
would be good.
more audience in.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think
absolutely.
that's
He'd
the
be
biggest-
like what Huang was to the Asian team last year, bringing in a big
100%.
market. Yeah,
100%.
I think that's the biggest story from this World Pool Championships this year, aside from if Federer snaps the thing off, right? But it's like Amir has been this kind of like dark shadow in the corner that everyone that pays attention to Fargo has kind of known existed for the last year, and we're all like, "Who the heck is this guy?" And then he shows up and gets top 8.
well, and then you learn the hard way. You don't want to fuck with that dude.
No, that
Yeah.
guy can play.
Yeah.
He's got a mean
Yeah.
cue ball playing safe too. Some of them safes were just ridiculous.
No, he's
So-
clean. Very clean.
I would take Asia only because of the way that the Asians just play with pride. They play that it means something to them. The honor side of it, they
Amir's
want it.
technically
They want it in a different kind of
Another
way.
question. Wouldn't the Middle East, like there's a big Filipino contingent in like Qatar and stuff, like would they classify as Asia? Like if we were like as we get more and more Middle Eastern players, like would Bader Al Awadi, let's say if he goes off and wins the Worlds, right? Would he be Team Asia?
Well, but hold
You
on.
know?
You're still in. I think the answer is yes, but I think like if you get the world, right? If you get the world, can we get like a leftover co-brother instead? Like whoever
You're not
whoever
allowed to
whoever
double dip. Can't double dip.
it's the world, Ray. It's the
Can't
world.
can't trust them.
but
Can't trust them. They'll throw their
Oh,
match.
here we go.
That's on the selected. Oh, they'll take a fall. They'll take a fall.
Look,
That's strong.
Tomorrow, the championships are going to conclude. It's going to be a great day. It's been a fun week to this point, gentlemen. I appreciate your time. It's been a fun show, more than what I expected. Y'all are
Leah
all wrong.
asked, is Ali legit? And yes, unequivocally,
Oh, yeah.
he is. He is.
He
Legit.
is
He's too legit to quit.
100%. Yeah, he's
Is
a
he
bad.
playing? Is he playing in the U.S. Open?
I don't know. I hope so, though. I want to see a lot more of that
Yeah.
dude. He's a bad
That'd be
mofo,
great.
man.
That would
Yeah.
be great.
Not.
He is
I hope
one
not.
bad dude.
I hope not.
Hey, maybe you could have a perfect record against him too.
Put him
There
up.
you go.
This is. I go Super Saiyan for the 840 pluses. That's right.
Yeah, 840 plus.
Super Saiyan for the
Undefeated. Undefeated. All right, boys. I gotta get out of here. I got a house full of girls. I gotta go attend to. Enjoy your night. Collins is gonna be streaming here. Pancake will have you on again. Ray will do
All right.
something again pretty soon as well. Thanks for your
Yeah.
time, gentlemen. Hope everyone enjoys the last day, and we'll see all you guys a little later on. Later, y'all.
Take care, boys.